We look forward to the remainder of the year revenue results being closer to budget, which will help us combat the loss of revenue we experienced during the shutdown.
Thank you, Bruce. Under unfinished business, the following community club policies have been reviewed by the Board of Directors and will be posted on the community club website for review and comment by the community club membership, and those will be posted by Friday, October 23rd, 2020. Those policies are the revised new home requirements policy, the revised manufactured homes requirements policy, the revised exterior addition and modification requirements policy, a revised fence policy including golf ball nets, and a revised dock policy. These revisions to these policies will be considered for final approval by the Board of Directors at the December 10th board meeting. With that, we have new business. The first item on the agenda is the purchase requisition for the IT infrastructure upgrade in the amount of $91,660. Greg? Who's going to do the update? Denise, you're going to do the update on, I'm sorry.
Hello again. We are getting ready to do a big upgrade on some of our equipment in IT, which is failing. We're having server failures. We have some that are 6 and 7 years old. So I have a PR in for the $91,000 for the IT, which is a combination of 3 different sections of the IT department, really. So I have $40,000 of that is in network and computer equipment, and I've got $33,000 in switches and servers, and another $20,000 in software. So we're upgrading a number of different things within the system, and a lot of that is coming from our networking consultant that is trying to get all the equipment upgraded so we are running more smoothly and we can handle the data we're pushing through. Any questions? No? Okay.
Thank you, Denise.
I move approval of the PR for the $991,660.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the motion is passed for the approval of the purchase requisition for $91,660. We now have a purchase requisition for a F-450 dump truck from Sewer, and Bruce, I think you're going to preview that.
Good morning. I have 2 purchase recs this month. The first one is for the purchase of a new Ford F-450 dump truck to replace a 2002 F-350 dump truck. The dump truck that is utilized to haul gravel back and forth to grinder pump install sites, or sewer extension sites, and it's becoming an issue with the bed rotting out and whatnot, and it's time to be replaced. So the quotes that I received are under budget, and the truck needs to be replaced. Any questions?
Okay.
The second PR is for 2 replacement floating aerators. At the plant, we have 13 floating aerators in our pond, 2 and 3, 7 in one, 6 in the other. The plant was commissioned in 2001. We're almost at 20 years. The pontoon aerators are at the end of their normal useful life expectancy. They're very difficult to maintain, and they're certainly required to keep an aerobic process in the treatment plant, keeping us in permit. Within permit. So we're beginning a 5-year plan to replace 10 of them. There's 13, but we only need to replace 10. We really don't need 13, so we're going to do away with 3 of them, put 5 in each new pond over the next 5 years, and get us going for 20 years after that. So that particular PR is slightly over budget, but with savings on the dump truck and savings on our irrigation pumps, we're well within the capital budget.
Okay, thank you, Bruce. May I have a motion to approve the new Ford F-450 dump truck for sewer?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Barb. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Bruce? Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? PR is approved for the dump truck for $47,900. May I have a motion to approve the floating aerator replacement for sewer at $26,442?
I so move.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is passed. The PR for the floating aerators is approved. The next PR on the agenda this morning is the Racket Center construction. And I believe Dave is going to present that.
Well, what I'm going to present makes the last two kind of small. This has been the first project, the Racket Center, that the Major Capital Projects Committee, once it was formed, undertook, and it's been a challenge. We've been at it for 15 months. So it's taken a long time to get us where we are today. When we first started, we said, hey, let's get this facility all on one level instead of having the multiple levels that we currently have. And so we got together with William and the Racket Committee, and we developed a scope of work that would fit their needs, but at the best possible price. We bid the architectural and engineering work, awarded to the low bidder. He then developed the construction drawings. We went out to bid, and it was a time of a lot of activity in the construction industry. And out of the 5 bidders that we had chosen to bid the project, we got 2 bids, both of them over budget. So then we went back to the drawing board and said, okay, what can we do to still meet the needs of the Racket community, but reduce the cost? And we came up with a plan. The plans are there on the easels. There's a floor plan and an elevation view. So we went back to the initial low bidder, and for the last month or so, we've been negotiating the price. And so we've got the price to where we feel it's a good project. So we're asking for $818,000 to not just do the construction, but for furnishings and decor inside the new building. So the existing check-in building will be demolished starting in November, assuming the board approves the project. And we will be building then a new building that stretches the entire width of the indoor tennis courts. Any questions?
Thank you, Dave. May I have a motion to approve the purchase requisition for the Racket Center construction in the amount of $818,025?
I make a motion that we approve the Racket Center construction for $818,025.
Thank you, John. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bruce. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to make a comment. Dave mentioned that this is the first time that they've been on a project, and it's a model that we're going to use going forward when we do these major projects. That is to use the Major Capital Projects Committee along with the staff and along with what I call stakeholders. In this case, it's the Racket Center Committee. When we do future projects, we'll have the stakeholders as well, so that when we finish, everybody had their input. We've done as much competitive bidding as we can do and get the price down as much as we can, and that's what happened here. So I think it's a great model for us to use going forward. And I thank Dave and his personal time. That gentleman has spent hours and hours on this project.
Is there any further comment or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The purchase requisition for the Racket Center is approved in the amount of $818,025. The final purchase requisition on this morning's agenda is the Heatherhurst Clubhouse Restrooms and Pro Shop project, and Jeff is going to walk us through that.
What we're going to do is in December, we're going to start a little remodeling on the restrooms. We did a little bit last year. This year, we're going to spend $15,000 out of the $150 on the restrooms, new granite countertop, new cabinets, some new petitions in there, some small work. Last year, we did flooring so that bring the restrooms up to where we want them to be. The other part will be remodeling of the pro shop area, which will include fixtures, new counter. When you walk into Heatherhurst, you'll see the soffit going around. That will all be taken away. The ceilings will be basically up to 10 feet, new ceiling, new carpet. It'll be the look of the Dorchester facility and the Stonehenge facilities. Very nice upgrade for that facility down there.
Are there any questions for Jeff? Okay. Then may I have a motion to approve the purchase requisition of $150,000 for the Heatherhurst Clubhouse Restrooms and Pro Shop renovation?
I so move.
Thank you, Greg. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Barb. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Purchase requisitions approved for $150,000 for Heatherhurst Clubhouse Restrooms and Pro Shop.
Thank you.
Okay, we're now ready for the Fairfield Glade Resident Services update. Mr. Pat Gruet. Dapper.
You're going to give this guy a raise. Most important man in the lake. Bathrooms. Good morning, everybody. Morning to the board, management team, the press, morning, Rebecca, morning, and our residents. I'm glad to see we have this gigantic turnout this morning. Anyway, I drove over Lake Dartmoor this morning, over the causeway, and I looked out over that view there, and boy, am I glad that I live here in Fairfield Glade. It was fabulous. Before I start, I just want you to remember one thing here. Everybody in this room, and you could tell your friends the same thing. Just think you'll be able to tell your grandkids and your great-grandkids that you survived the great toilet paper shortage of 2020. Whew. Okay, FGRS is open and operating, 9 to 12, 5 days a week. We encourage you to come down. We have OCs, office coordinators, sitting there to answer any questions and to possibly sign you up as a volunteer or for one of our programs. As I mentioned at the last meeting, the home-delivered meals, unfortunately, is in a state of flux, and we had to suspend it due to our source, the Good Samaritans, in severe lockdown. But as soon as they're back on board, we will be back delivering meals. All we can do right now is recommend to our residents to, use, there's several other facilities around that will deliver meals, because we tried with frozen food, and quite frankly, it didn't work. So we've had to move on. Now, the one program that is booming is our Way to Go Travel, our car system. Everybody's back up and around, going to doctor's appointments, shopping, liquor stores, etc., and having a wonderful time, and we're extremely busy. Our Caring Connections organization is still running along smoothly. It's fairly limited, but we are doing very well in our music and memory program and our senior enrichment program, and also helping any families that are in distress. Vial of Life is still available to pick up. You can come on into the office and pick it up. I'm sure many of you are familiar. It's a good idea to update it. A lot of people have said to me over the past, and I've been harping on this for the last 8 or 9 years here, the Vial of Life is extremely essential, only because when you first move here, a lot of us are not on medication, a lot of us aren't aches and pains, but your day is coming, trust me. So it's a good idea to fill it out and have it available. Dr. Prigg, our board president, is retiring at the end of this year, and Fairfield Glade Resident Service is going to be undergoing some radical changes. We're adding to our board, and we're going to have to take a new and more modern-day approach to how we're going to service our community. Our facility over there is too small, number one. And number two, the kindness of Mr. Butch Smith, the developer, has let us have it at a ridiculously low price. But the day is going to come when Peavine Road opens. We feel very strongly that he's going to want his office back to rent. Can't blame him. He's a businessman. So we've got to really step up to the plate, and we're going to have to start getting our act together and looking for a new facility. We have enlisted the services through the goodness of his heart by the name of Mr. Bill Booth, who's going to help us and guide us in the future and how we can go about funding and getting our act together and get ready to move on to a new facility. You will be hearing updates periodically, newspaper articles, and we will keep you apprised of what's going on. But please do stop by our office and check us out. We do have programs still going. In closing, I would just like to say this. The pandemic has created a lot of problems, but all of us here will survive, I promise you. And recently, a lot of us I know are watching TV. Myself, I've been doing a lot of reading, and I was reading about the evils of drinking, so I gave up reading. Anybody have any questions? Boy, I got off light. Thanks, folks. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Pat. And you are dapper as ever with your...
Well, I see out of the house. I'm married to an Italian, but that's all.
And when she sees the way you come home, you're going to be in big trouble. Do we have any comments from the floor at this time? Okay, are there any comments from members of the board? Before we adjourn, I'd just like to make one note. Due to the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, we do have a calendar update for November and December. The next board meeting will be on Thursday, December 10th. So there is no end-of-month November meeting, and there is no end-of-month December meeting. So there's just one meeting now, and that is on Thursday, December 10th. And with that, since we won't see all of you again until after Thanksgiving, on behalf of the board, we wish all of you a very happy Thanksgiving. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion? Okay. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion to adjourn is passed. We stand adjourned. Thank you.